people come in anyway, so it's not like anyone shows up right away.
No, listen. There's 50,000 people in my chat right
No!
now. Let's go.
Oh
God.
shit! Panic! 50,000 people. I wouldn't know what to do with 50,000 people.
I wouldn't know what to do with 50,000 people.
Like
either.
I don't
I'd be very
ever
overwhelmed.
want an audience that big. I never want to feel like I
do.
can't. I don't because I want to be. I never want to make it feel like I can't keep up with chat because the whole point of me, I want to talk with people. I'm connecting with people. I can't connect with people if I've got 40,000 people talking at once in my chat. You know, the most I ever want is a couple hundred viewers. Honestly, that'll be my friend gets 30 views maximum and pays his rent.
Ooh.
So I'm
That's really
like
good.
asking 200 views is not like it's not like a huge ask. You know, like when there's 50. I watch streams with like 10,000 viewers on them regularly. You know. So I know I can do it. It's just a matter of doing the thing. And lately, I've just been obsessed with movies a bit too much to do the thing. I've been watching between 20 and 25 movies a week.
Wow, you have been watching a lot. I've been noticing that.
Just whatever. I'm manic, and when I'm manic, I watch movies. I don't know. Interestingly, lost my thought. That's cool. Interestingly, I did a complete list of all the movies I watched with my platonic life partner, Stabman.
Yeah.
And he and I have watched 1,137 movies.
That might be more movies than I have seen. Period.
Oh, I've seen. I don't know. Let me see here. Actually, I can tell you the exact number of of movies I've seen. I can go over here. Oh, at least according to Letterboxd. First of all, you gotta like this review. Thank you. I found out that Gold Ninja Video released 3 new titles today.
Yeah.
And I found that out because I happened to randomly look at my feed on Letterboxd. I have logged 5,715 films in 10 years.
Wow. That's a lot of movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many movies I've seen? Like 8.
No, you see more than 8.
It's true, I have.
I can look at my stats for 2021 already. Let's see what are my stats for 2021 already. 182 movies.
182
I've made
movies.
77 lists this year because I made a bunch of lists. I've been making a lot of lists lately.
Hun, we're only like 78 days into this
290
year.
hours watching movies. Do you know what my highest recommendation
3
is?
movies a day.
My dear, you and your wife should watch Space Sweepers on Netflix.
Space Weaver?
Space Sweepers. It's a Chinese
Sweeper
sci-fi film, but it feels very much like Guardians of the Galaxy. And there's a Trains character, Bubs, and I love her so much. And you know, it's Korean, not Chinese. Excuse me. It's a Korean movie, Space
that's
Sweepers.
A big difference.
There is a big difference, actually. It feels very much like.
I know.
It feels very much like Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah, like in a good way. Like it's mimicking the best parts. So I've watched between 10 and 22 movies a week. Right, that's my stats are telling me.
10 and 22.
I average about 60 movies a month.
That's darn good.
My average is 15 movies a week.
15 movies a week.
My most logged movie is The Astrologer, which I've watched twice, but I logged twice. I've watched like 5 times. I stopped logging at some point.
Just this year?
Just this year. I found this movie only like a month ago. Oh my god! Did you not see me ranting or raving about The Astrologer? Probably not. I deleted some of the tweets. So,
you delete tweets?
I all the time.
Why?
Because sometimes I get self-conscious.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Or sometimes I tweet a bad take and I look at it again and I'm like, eh. Or even worse, I'll tweet something, this is a bad take. And I'll read it again and I'm like, you're right, it's a bad take. I'll delete the tweet.
Okay. Can you explain one series of your tweets today?
One series of my tweets today?
Yeah, you retweeted somebody who was like, here is this old-time movie from 1975 directed by Italian dude. Here's a similar picture from Zack Snyder's.
Oh, it's not an Italian dude. It's a Russian guy. Tarkovsky, I think he's Russian. I think he's Russian.
Actually, it is Russian.
So
I did not understand the joke.
Okay. So Tarkovsky is like one of the highest held standards of like film direction and the film nerdy type. And he did. I think he did a movie called Sacrifice. I haven't seen, but he also did a movie called Stalker, which I actually have but haven't watched yet. Which is technically a post-apocalyptic sci-fi film where like these people are sent to this radioactive zone to retrieve something that's crashed there.
Okay.
But there's like they're movies about like the human condition among other things, and specifically The Mirror is like 3 hours, like it's like 2.5 hours, 3 hours long, or like or something like that. Maybe it's not. It feels like 3 hours long, and it rains for most of the movie, and yeah, it's all about the human condition and stuff. Let's hear it. We are live, and definitely, probably not talking about the Snyder Cut. Probably.
We'll talk about it eventually. I do want to like talk about one thing in particular when we get a little bit more.
All right, so the big thing was the first thing I retweeted was Martin Kessler, who is a lover of film that makes me look like I mean, that guy watches movies. You think I watch movies? That guy watches movies, and
that guy watches movies.
That guy watches movies. That guy impresses me with his movie watching, his knowledge and depth of knowledge.
Well, does he get paid for it?
And like, no, he does a podcast like everyone else. It's just his thing. I think he maybe gets paid for it. Maybe he's a writer for like a website or something. I don't fucking know. All I know is he does like podcasts and stuff, and he's constantly tweeting movie stuff. Hey, Garbage! Welcome, Garbage Gamer is here. Yay!
Oh, Garbage Gamer. Welcome,
you definitely should change your name to Garbage Gamer now, like permanently, on all platforms. Not talking to Garbage because he's Garbage Gamer, but yeah.
I mean, you could be talking about me.
So okay, so Tarkovsky. So his tweet is simply a lady from behind with a bun, looking off into the distance, and it's kind of bleak looking, right? And
yes.
And then he put another screenshot from The Mirror. Mirror, not The Mirror. Mirror from Tarkovsky. And everyone lost their shit like it wasn't actually related. And then, like 10 minutes later, he posted a video gif of the two shots side by side. And it's 1000% a reference to Tarkovsky in fucking Justice League the Snyder Cut. Because guess what?
Is it a reference or
yes,
is it just a...
That's how film works.
Dink?
No, it's not a coinky-dink. It's a reference. It's either the cinematographer or the director or whoever suggested that shot is a fan. And there's nothing wrong with Zack Snyder being a fan of Tarkovsky. I bet he is. He's a very visual director. I don't necessarily like his films. I don't hate them. I don't necessarily like him. You know, I hear some bad stories about him, so I'm not really inclined to like him. But I don't hate him. And his movies, some of his movies, like Watchmen is superb. So good, as an example.
Watchmen is fun. I do like
he is a very, very discernible and an observable style, filmic style, that not many pop culture directors have. And so people talk shit about him all the time, but when you look at his fucking films with a critical eye, he has a style. You don't have to like it, mind you, but he has a style and a look all his own. Whether you agree with it or not, that's a whole other issue. I like some of his movies. I don't like other of his movies, but I don't think any of his movies are particularly terrible.
Okay.
Right? I don't think... He doesn't make bad movies. He makes very stylistic movies sometimes. Sometimes it's style over substance, like 300. But then again, the 300 comic was style over substance, too. No offense to any Frank Miller fans. It's a great story. But, like, there's, like, this much story and a lot of fluffy graphics.
I don't need story. I just need my beautiful Skyrish Greeks.
Skyrish?
Skyrish.
What's Skyrish?
It's Scottish and Irish.
Oh, were they talking with those kind of accents in that movie? I don't remember. I think everyone just used their own fucking accents. Like at this point, like,
I don't think
who gives a fuck?
Try to do anything.
Don't try to do an accent you can't do. Just be yourself, and just who cares? In the world, it's the world. First of all, it's not real. It's a fucking movie. We're not watching history unfold. So guess what? Yeah, it's Skyrish.
You're telling me that every time I turn on 300 that I'm not actually watching them?
The depiction of the Persians is pretty, I would say, offensive. But
I mean,
they're not real
Persians.
It's
history unfolding before my eyes.
So you may not want to watch it. Someone may not want to watch it because that might offend them. But like, they're like these weird fantasy villains in this story, and it's not even like.
Really are.
And it's like I said, it's a very, very like if you look at the what was it, the 6 out, what that was it called? Something Spartans. I can't remember. 300 Spartans, whatever the original story, right? Was it called Battle Thermopylae or whatever? I can't remember. But like, it's you look at that. There's like this much story there. There's like 10 minutes of story, maybe 20 minutes of story in 300, and the rest slow-mo and fancy shots and fight scenes. It's all very entertaining. It's all got a very good style. Whether you, like I said, you like it or not, that's a whole other thing. That's your choice. art is subjective. You don't have to like the same art I do or anyone else does.
Art is objective. Everybody knows this.
There's
a definitive ranking of the top 10 arts.
Hold on.
There's not, by the way. It is just me. I'm being a dork.
She just wants to interrupt.
Oh, okay.
She knows I'm live. She knows I'm doing something, but she's like, "Oh, I just want to interrupt I want to control your world in some way." I'm like, "Whatever."
Is that what she said?
No, but that's what her actions say.
Yes, that's true. It is.
Anyway, I'm no Zack Snyder fangirl. I think he makes fine movies. They're pop art, and pop art is just as valid as any other. And yes, pop art can reference actual art, and that's okay.
You can also reference cans of soup.
Okay, way to go. Are you gonna also
Andy
watch
Warhol.
paint draw? Are you also gonna film grass growing for 7 hours? Okay, whatever.
Here's the thing. I really like the movie Rubber.
I love the movie Rubber, but do you know it's
so silly?
Yes, but you're taking it at face value.
Yes, I don't. If I have to think about why I like something, that immediately makes it so I don't like it.
Oh, that's stupid.
Wow. Throw me out.
If you have to think, if I have to think, that's stupid. Wow, what?
I don't want to think.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
gonna pay $10 to get a ticket just to go think. No, I just want to see lightsaber hit lightsaber. You know why I've always been a little disappointed, especially with the newer Godzilla movies?
Why?
They promise me monster on monster action, and then they get 2 hours of some like human interest story, and I'm like, get out of here.
Have you ever seen a Godzilla movie?
No, because you know
okay,
what?
that's what your ignorance shows. Your ignorance fucking shows. Watch a Godzilla movie. Every Godzilla movie has got 45 minutes of human interest and 30 minutes of giant monsters smashing each other in the face. That's the whole fucking movie. That's it. That's the template.
That's better than a lot of.
Wait until you have to sit through fucking hour of fucking spy espionage just waiting for fucking Godzilla to show up. And was it Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla? Because there's like a fucking spy espionage about like fucking plans or some shit, and then like. There's like someone trying to steal a fucking statue, but the statue commands its own kaiju called King Caesar. Well, not King Caesar, but King Caesar. And look, stop.
I'm looking.
Just stop. Human
interest
gets you into the movie. If you were just to watch 2 hours of Monster Slugging, you would be bored.
That is not true.
That's
Pacific
true.
Rim is essentially giant robots hitting giant monsters for a lot of the movie, and I love it for that part.
There's just as much human interest in that movie as Godzilla.
Yeah, but it's the kind of human interest that I could just like.
And that's the crux.
Monsters.
It's
fighting.
not the movie's fault that you don't like the art. No,
I will say
just art.
To completely
you don't have to like
my own argument off at the knees. I really like the Peter Jackson. Yeah, Peter Jackson
King Kong, 2005 Kong.
Yeah, I like that.
Fucking
King Kong.
Have you seen the extended cut though?
See King Kong.
But have you watched the extended cut?
Hours. The extended cut?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have.
Some fan.
I watched the theater cut.
Some
though.
fan.
Wait,
why don't you watch the extended cut? You don't want to watch 30 minutes more of movie?
I do, but you know
it's
how
on Blu-ray,
hard
by
it
the
is
way.
for me to pay attention for that long?
Hell yeah.
Do you know how long it's going to be before I actually sit down and watch all of the Snyder cut of Justice League?
Oh, God. It's
like a 12-hour movie now.
It's 4 hours, and it's 4 hours, and I will definitely be taking 2 breaks to pee and grab food and shuffle about and, like, coming back. But it'll take me about 5 hours to complete, I think, to watch a 4-hour movie.
It's going to take me at least a weekend.
This is why I don't watch movies in theaters, though, anymore. Unless it's a really important movie to me, yeah.
See,
I would see Kong vs. Godzilla in theaters in a heartbeat. That would be where I'd be right now.
The only movie I'm really, really looking forward to this year is The Matrix.
Matrix 4, or finally the studio won't fuck with their trans art.
I bet they still will fuck with the trans art. But
oh, no.
Yes.
You know, if they fuck with it, they'll go public. They'll make sure everyone knows. They'll make sure everyone knows. There'll be such an outrage. There'll be such an outrage. You dare fuck with a trans artist's vision? Oh my god, the outrage would be great. I don't want it to happen. Art is compromised. Look, pop art is compromised, but like only to a point. I'm sorry, most producers' notes are just a producer trying to put his own creativity in your creativity. He's trying to put his dick in your Cheerios. You had a perfectly fine bowl of Cheerios. He came to your fucking kitchen table and dropped his nuts right in your fucking Cheerios. Ooh. You can't have a trans person. You can't have someone in the Matrix be a female and a male on the outside of the Matrix. What would that say to people? Nuts in the Cheerios. That's what I'm saying.
That is so sad about Switch.
I know. And the fucking
So
name
sad.
Switch. I mean, come on.
I know.
Ah! It's like, I know. It's like, fuck.
I recently rewatched the original Matrix, and I was like,
It's so good.
Yeah. Oh, it's still.
And you can
so
see
good.
it. You can see it now, though, when you know that that's the truth about that character. Like, oh yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense now. Okay.
She even she even looks like she's trans. Like.
Hey,
oh, yeah,
what do you mean? What do you mean? Looks like.
Gosh, she's got the codes.
Oh God, what are the codes?
Okay, listen. So she wants to be different. Have you noticed that she's the only one that wears all white? Everyone else is decked out in black. She wears all white. She's special.
She's special. She's only wearing. By the way,
known.
they made her all white because they wanted to bring attention to the fact that she was gender swapped. That's the only reason originally.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like.
They wanted to single her out specifically
I didn't know that for a while. I didn't even notice that she was the only one wearing all white the first 20 times I watched that movie.
I want Neo to be like the new Morpheus. He's barely in this new movie. And I want a new trans main character.
Okay, here's what I want. And you're gonna hate me for this.
Go for it.
So there's a throwaway line in Reloaded. That the architect is like, yeah, so you're like the 6th incarnation of the one. Yep. I want a trilogy for all of the other 5. Give me 15 more Matrix movies that all end with the main characters all dying at the end.
Oh no, and then... they don't die. They take the deal with the architect and go back.
I like to believe that they all die after that. But yes, that is exactly what I want.
The dark ending would be that they think they're happy and then they get to inserted back in the Matrix in their happy life, and they get fucking killed in a car accident 2 weeks later.
Exactly. Like what the? Oh, we never see him get back into the Matrix, right?
Killed before that.
Yeah, Cypher doesn't make it.
You know, fuck that guy. I mean, fuck that character. Joe Pantoliano is fine. Just the character's the problem.
Is he fine? I've only ever seen him in villain roles, so I don't know if he's actually a good person. It's kind of like
he's just a really good character actor.
I'm sure he is. Mal from Inception. I've only seen her in Inception, but I cannot watch her in anything without being like, oh god, she's gonna kill you and it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
So the question is, do you have a cis male character outside the Matrix and a cis woman character inside the Matrix? Do you do the full swap?
Yes.
Okay.
I think in the original Matrix, if you go back in my 15 movie prequel trilogy, in the very first one, actually every single character is inadvertently trans because the computers don't actually do a very good job of transposing, like projecting the body that the mind sees into its computer simulations, which is why it failed that time. And so the first trilogy is just about a lot of cis people being forced into a trans role and just how bad that screws fundamentally human society.
That's hilarious. You just I want you to feel my dysphoria.
Call me up.
You're like the best villain. You're like, I want you to feel my dysphoria. That's what you basically just said. Amazing. Oh, dude. And then I hope that they do the whole trans angle, hardcore. I hope they literally show the character having, dysphoria outside the Matrix with their body. Oh, please.
I'm surprised you don't get that more. You get a little bit of, I would say, more body dysmorphia because, a lot of the characters, I feel kind of play with, their sockets in the back of their skull when they are in the real world.
What do you mean?
Just the the socket that they use to plug into.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of them, maybe not, but I feel like a lot of them are a little weirded out by it.
Why wouldn't you be?
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, so you think that's a physical representation of dysmorphia to an extent?
Yeah, I think so.
Or dysphoria, excuse me. Either one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I mean, it might not be. That might be just me overthinking.
Well, here's
it,
the thing
but-
about no. Don't belittle your thoughts like that. Like, here's the thing about film theory. If you can find evidence in the film, your theory has weight, regardless if it was ever intended by the artist. So when someone tells you, "Oh, I didn't want my art to be political," too bad. That was a political statement in itself. You just made a political statement by saying you don't want to be political. And guess what?
Wow.
No matter what you do, subtextually, your brain will put shit in there that you don't intend that is political. Because
That's
all
what you
art is
think.
political. Anyway, I don't mean to get so fired up, but I got fired up.
Hey, that's fine. And you know what? I am like the perfect foil to you when we talk about movies because I am the ignorant
about movies
masses.
because
Because
you
you just want to choke the shit out of me and be like, you need to watch all of these movies.
I'm not going to choke you harder. Stop asking.
Man, one of these days.
One of these days. Amazing. Some of my favorite
But yeah.
memes is like that fucking field mouse in the claws of a raptor, and it's like, harder, bitch. It's like, it's great. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, pop the chat open so I can see.
So have you seen? I assume you have the original Justice League.
Mhm.
I have too.
I've seen the theatrical. I've seen the theatrical cut, and I've seen the unrated cut. Of Whedon's cut.
Yeah, I forgot they had an unrated cut, so I don't know if I've seen that.
The theatrical cut is butchered. Like, it's super. Like, there's some. It's literally jarring in this one scene. It like with the cyborg. It's in the extended that there's cuts, and there's like 5 more minutes of that scene, and there's still not that much more. That's like the most cyborg we get, right? But like,
Well, yeah, I mean, as we have found out, Joss Whedon is actually just a huge racist as well as being sexist.
he may not be
so-
necessarily intentionally racist as much as like just a piece of shit. He's like
Yeah,
a piece of
yeah.
shit. I feel like I don't know if he's like racist as much as he's just picking on people he deems weaker than him, right? Regardless, it's because he's race or maybe some social cue. Maybe he acted a little nerdy and he's like, oh, fucking nerds. Like Joss Whedon makes money on nerds, you know? You know what I mean? Like, but I'm saying like that's what happens. Like a lot of people don't necessarily mean like are intending to be racist, but what they do is racism, you know? Like
Yeah.
what he did was racism, but I'm saying like it wasn't necessarily. He may not be a racist. He did a racism though, you know? So and also this is all alleged because we can't. I don't want to get sued.
Yeah, okay,
I know
that's fine.
there's no public fact because there's not a trial, so everything's alleged. That's it. We stand with all the victims, but my point is, legally you have to say alleged because
Okay.
Gotta cover my own ass.
You probably know better than I. Why didn't Zack Snyder finish out the movie in the first place? Or did he not even start the movie?
Oh, his kid committed suicide, I think,
Oh, okay.
or died.
I didn't know
They
what the
died.
reasoning
I don't know
was
the
behind that.
I should say his kid died. I don't want to say. I don't remember exactly the circumstances. My apologies. His child.
No, that's
died.
okay. I mean that's rough regardless. So
Yeah. Oh no. Like I 1000% understand why he stepped down.
yeah.
Yeah. Take your fucking time. You
And
know.
now I just want to make like a
Oh, it was
thousand bad
okay. I
jokes.
hadn't heard it was the suicide of his daughter. Damn.
That's rough.
Fucking that's terrible. He was in post production, by the way, on that, which he had to do reshoots still, but so it was like almost done, and then
Okay.
Joss Whedon comes in, does a full rewrite, and does a whole new shooting, shoots like half a whole new movie. It's like I hear it's completely different. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean that's what I hear as well. You know, it kind of so it sounds like Zack Snyder really hates what he has done to the movie.
Wait, what?
It sounds like Zack Snyder really hates what Joss Whedon did. to
Oh, the way you
Sorry,
said it,
I
like
was
he
very
did. I
loose
like
with the
he
pronoun.
is he like Frankenstein? Is he hate his creation? That's interesting.
No,
That wouldn't be the
but
first
it
time.
Reminds me. So I am one of the few people in the world that really likes the movie AI.
I love AI. You're talking about the Kubrick film, or the Spielberg film that's actually just a Kubrick film. Because you watch it, it's like there's a lot of Spielberg stuff, but he's doing Kubrick stuff in it too. You're like, okay,
Yes,
that's cool.
so
like
I
hybrid.
love it, and
That's
I
great.
like it because of the Spielberg stuff. But the author who wrote the original short story that the movie's based on hated
right?
it. He
Asimov?
did an introduction
right?
to the story. No, it wasn't Asimov. It was some small town
Small
guy
time.
that-
Oh, let's just insult him. Okay,
Yeah, no, whatever. He's literally done nothing since then. He may have.
I'm gonna look
I
him
don't
up. I'm gonna look him up so I
Um,
can slander him properly.
But like in the introduction to his like short story books, he like there was like this like 10-page
Oh,
intro.
Brian Aldiss. Who the fuck is that?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Super Toys last all summer long. It's loosely based on it too. Hardly the work of his.
So he wrote this introduction about how great it was working with Kubrick and how much he was looking forward to it. And then right at the end of the introduction, he says, and then Steven Spielberg took over, and well, that's that. And I was like, oh man, you really hate what Spielberg did to this movie.
It's funny as he followed Kubrick's stuff.
That's
so like,
that's what I tell people. I'm like,
it's
you're
like
telling me.
It's like, hold on. It's like, so he hates what I hate what Spielberg did. So you're saying you would have hated what Kubrick probably would have done too.
That's my argument against people, and people are like, no, Steven Spielberg just did so much bad to this that it overrode Kubrick's goodness. To which I say,
I understand he did do a writing. He did some writing on the project, if I'm not mistaken.
Like, do you think a similar thing is going to happen with the Snyder cut? Like, do you think there's just nothing good to work with, which is why the Whedon cut is so bad?
I don't think it's bad. I don't think the Whedon cut's bad. I think that the theatrical cut's bad.
Justice League.
I don't give a fuck what people think. People like to follow the trend, okay? Who gives a fuck? I'm a free goddamn thinker. I've seen thousands of movies. I'll tell you what's a good and bad movie. That's not a bad movie.
I think
a lot of common people haven't seen a bad movie. They think they've seen a bad movie, but until you sit through 2 hours of some asshole student project film that got somehow a fucking release, you haven't sat through a bad movie. You haven't.
I have. It's called The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Shut the fuck up. That's not bad either. Jesus. You don't have to like the movie. But Jesus, it's hardly a bad movie. Is it weird? Fucking yes. Is it densely packed with, like, metaphor? Yes, again. But it's like, fuck. Like, it's not a bad movie. It's definitely not.
I know.
I would say it is a film that Yorgos definitely... I can't say his fucking name. Anyway, the director definitely made to make himself feel superior and only let people who were, like, super cerebral to, like, talk about it. Like, that's what he wanted. He made it all, like, dense and hard to follow and hate it. I hate that. I hate his style. I really like Dogtooth, which is a slightly less dense film.
Okay.
More weird.
Yeah, like it was very surreal, and I like
The
that
Lobster
about it.
was really good too. But anyway.
Like I really like the movie Mother, with the exclamation point.
I have not seen that, but that movie I hear is really heavy-handed.
It is a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like if you don't know what it's about going into it, you're like, what's going on here?
So the screenplay of AI was written by Spielberg, and that's why he did probably do significant changes on it. But it was previously done by Ian Watson, which means it says screen story, which usually means he did the draft before this. He probably did the original draft.
Can I insert a conspiracy theory that is not true at all?
Go for it.
Spielberg.
Say allegedly first. Start again. Say allegedly.
What's that?
Say allegedly first. Start over.
Allegedly, Spielberg wanted this movie to be written a certain way, so he actually had Kubrick killed so that he could assume control of the director and make it however he wanted. Allegedly.
Oh God, I love you. That's brilliant. You should make a movie about that. Here's the thing. So I watched this movie called Operation Avalanche. It's a mockumentary, shot like a real documentary / found footage, a little bit both.
Yep.
About these guys who work for the CIA. They go into NASA because they want to determine if NASA can actually make it to the moon in time. This is back in the 60s, right? So they find out that NASA can't, and the CIA like tells them to pull out, and like they no longer do their project. They no longer do the thing, and they decide to go off on their own and fake the moon landing just in case they can't make it to the moon. And they even call Kubrick in to come work on it, and what happens is here. So what it says is, so they fake the moon landing and do a bunch of face footage, and then like the moon landing works, so they don't need it anymore. That's the whole movie. I'm sorry to spoil it for you, but like it's a fucking fun ass premise. It's not even like that's technically a spoiler I wouldn't normally go into, but that should be the promotion of the movie. Kubrick saves this movie, you know, like. It's fun, but I wouldn't say it's the best found footage film I've seen. So,
what is the best found footage film you've seen?
The McPherson tape.
Oh, I have not heard of that, but that doesn't surprise me.
It's one of the earlier ones. One of the earliest found footage
Oh.
films.
When did
So what
found footage
happened?
films start? Because I think of like the Blair Witch as being like the first one,
It's
but I know
not.
it's not. I know it's not.
The movie The Connection from 1961 is technically the first found footage / mockumentary. It's technically
So
both.
old.
So what it is this I can't remember her name. I apologize. The female director who very artsy, she did a bunch of short films. And she did a few features, and she did a movie called The Connection, 1961, and it's about these musicians who agree to let them to be interviewed and be seen taking their drugs. No one's actually taking drugs, and then playing music. And so it's like,
Okay.
it's a avant-garde jazz film, but it's also the premise is there's a director, and there's like I haven't seen it yet. This is just what I've read about it. And so it talks about the ethics of documentary. But some people like are like they won't do anything because they're the camera. They're just here to witness.
Okay.
You know, that's like a whole philosophy of like of documenting like that, documentary like that, because they don't want to interfere the whole when they want to they're just there to observe, and it's like, but you can't just let someone die, right? Like
You can. Why not?
because it's technically manslaughter. No, it's like a misdemeanor, I guess, if you don't at least attempt to render aid to somebody who is in need.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So you can't just sit there and watch. There's
Watch
what do they
me.
call it? It's called bystander laws or whatever. They're
Okay.
various they vary in severity from where you are. But basically you can't just stand and do nothing and just sit there and watch and film someone dying. You have to attempt to save somebody. If you were doing videography and someone else is attempting, you can just keep filming. You know.
Okay. So you get two separate crews. One's filming the movie and one's acting in the movie, but they don't know about one another. And then you can make this happen. But that's neither here nor there.
Anyway, so there's that, and then there's also like Cannibal Holocaust. This is like an early one because technically the premise is this is the footage of the people who went into the Amazon. We found the camera, but we didn't find the people. That's the premise of the movie. It was so authentic at the time that Umberto Lenzi went to court to defend himself for murder because he's the director.
I feel like that happens a lot with horror found film.
In this case, he had to have part of the marketing was he made the actors lay low for a couple months.
Exactly.
Right, and then what happens? He goes to court, and then he has to have them come out, ruin his publicity. But they can't do any kind of publicity now because now it's like, oh,
didn't that happen for, like Cannibal Holocaust?
That was Cannibal Holocaust. That's what I was just talking about.
Oh, Retro Game Critic says they killed real animals in the movie as well.
Oh yes, there's real. So cannibal film, the Italian cannibal film spins out of the Mondo film. The Mondo film is a kind of documentary film that, not so critically films things for shocking material. So like,
okay,
well, in this case, like, they would like film rituals of primitive cultures, or they would just kill animals on screen in some sort of ritual or preparing for food or whatever, just as a shock. A lot of random nudity,
without going into snuff films.
A lot of random like nudity shot sequences. So like a lot of it was faked. Like a lot of the there's like the Mondo Cane and Mondo Cane 2, Africa Dito, Tom, Goodbye Uncle Tom, and like a couple other ones are all by these two directors, the Kings of Mondo. They're the ones who started it basically. Okay. But they're documentaries for exploitation. They're exploitation where the point of exploiting things for money. They're not in the sense that they want to inform you of a subject, which are what most documentaries are. So from there, that there was like still kind of a selling point for that stuff. So that's why almost all the cannibal films and animal attack films in this era, from the late 60s to the early 90s, have animal violence. Wild Beasts is another example. They set rats on fire. They literally didn't. Then later they film a cat being eaten alive by rats, like it's being surrounded and swarmed. The cat's trying to get away.
Terrible.
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah.
Why?
But you have to like look away at this shit 'cause it's awful. The thing about Cannibal Holocaust, I can't even like watch one of the scenes because they literally murder a giant tortoise. I just can't. I love
Yeah,
turtles.
that's what Retro Green Kid was talking about. He's like they
Yeah,
kill a turtle.
it was a trend because it was picked up from the Mondo films. I have done Italian genre film is one of my favorite like areas. I love Italian genre films like Giallo and Pulitzesi, which I can't fucking say properly.
Genre film?
What do you say?
What do you mean by Italian genre film? Because to me, that would be like Western genre film, which means that Italy is a genre, and I don't think of a genre as Italy.
Italian made genre films. So Western, sci-fi, horror, action films, stuff like that. Nudie pics, Mondo films, etc. You know, those kind of things. Porn, a lot of porn. Not as much porn. Peplum, Giallo. Peplum is historical epics.
Oh, okay.
And also mythological stuff. So one of the biggest trends was in like the fucking, I think the 30s to like the 60s. There was like thousands of movies of Machiste, which I'm totally probably butchering the name of. Titled Samson or Ulysses or Achilles or Hercules most often. Or Atlas. In the land of like those are all they all got renamed those kind of things here in like Western civilization, but they're all like the vast majority of them are Machiste films or films about Machiste is not even Hercules. He's a completely different mythological hero technically.
Of course, it's Heracles, of course.
No, but I'm saying like so like there's that like that's kind of like then there's spaghetti westerns the next phase. So there's from like the 60s to the mid 70s. There's a huge wave of those, and then from the late 50s to the late 70s, early 80s, still a little bit. There's Giallo cinema, which is a spin-out of the noir film in America with a noir, which is like the crime films, you know, with moody lighting. Same thing, but in Italy, but now because it's based on the Italian Giallo pop novels, it's called Giallo because they have yellow pages. Giallo means yellow in Italian. So then, but they're more crude, not crude. They're more exploitative. No, that's not the right word. They're more sleazy because they have like more nudity, gore, often lots of blood, and a lot of those are based on or spun out of like 10 Little Indians, also known as and then there were none, Agatha Christie novel.
Oh, okay.
That was a big hit. They're like an adaptation and a few of those that were big hits in Italy, and so then like the whole crime genre, or sorry, it was a big hit I think in Germany, which became the Krimi film, and the Krimi film becomes the Giallo film, I think. I don't know. I think maybe the Krimi film. I'm not super up on my Krimi films. The German film is not my huge part. I'm still learning. I'm learning new genres literally every day.
Old blind spot.
Literally every day I'm discovering there are genres I just like that have been around forever that I just found out this year. There are Spanish like youth crime films that have a specific genre title and I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. And like there's like 100, 200 of those movies in that genre, and I'm like, that's cool. I've never seen a single one of those.
That's ridiculous.
There's Grand Dame Guignol, which is an American genre. So we have Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice, right? And then I have
something
also,
about big ladies.
Who Slain Auntie Roo? What's the Matter with Helen? All right, so these came out with What's the Matter with Baby Jane, I think, or is it? Is that right? Is that the right one? I think it's the right one. There's a whole subgenre of ladies in their 50s and 60s and 70s, sometimes 70s, and they're like, you know, it's horror movies starring those are the center point characters.
Yeah,
so like a lot of them are about them having mental illnesses and being psychotic and murderous. Straight Jacket, Berserk. Let's see, what else is there? There is
Isn't Berserk an anime?
Yes, but there's a movie. It's also a movie from the '60s. There's a whole subgenre of those, and then like you know, there's Peplum, the Sword and Sandal films.
So when would you say the first superhero movie began?
Probably the 20s, 30s. Whenever the first, when were the first serials? That's probably when the first superheroes came around for film.
So
for video.
They
for
start
film.
making like Superman movies, like
yeah, there's Superman serials and Captain America and Shazam. I have the Shazam serial. I haven't seen it yet, but There's the 2 Batman serials, the Green Hornet serial, because the Green Hornet was a radio drama first, and that all spins out of radio dramas. The radios, they have like,
I mean, that makes sense.
they have the radio crime dramas and stuff.
So with the obvious
so serials in the 40s. Thank you, Retro Game. I couldn't remember the exact
so with the Dan Snyder cut here of the Justice League.
Dan Snyder? Who the fuck's Dan Snyder?
Yeah, I know. I said it wrong. I'm just gonna need you to ignore that.
Who the fuck is who's
Dan Snyder is actually, I believe, the owner of the Washington football team.
Okay, who Tom Snyder? You remember who Tom Snyder? He might have been a little bit too behind. He did this late show on TV back in the day, and
the late show.
Yeah, and he did like, it was just a sit down talk interview show. He didn't do anything fancy, but he sat down with, like, Jerry Garcia and fucking like horror directors, and like he sat down with like musicians, people who would want to go to Carson, who could never get invited to Letterman or Leno. You know, that's the show that you went to, the Late Show.
Okay. All right.
I think it was called the Late Show. I can go look it up.
Yeah, I mean, there was or maybe still is a Late Show.
Yeah, but I mean, he was. It's called Tomorrow. The Late Show. Yeah, there we go. The Late Show. That's what I grew up with, because it was in the 90s. But he did Tomorrow on NBC in the 70s and 80s. Same show. Okay. Same show, but it was like really late stuff, like a late night stuff. It was like, it would come on at like midnight.
Yeah, well, that makes sense for the name.
And I watched because I've always been a night owl. So when I would spend summers at my grandma's, I watch TV all the time. I'd watch movies. She had all the channels. She had Disney Channel, which was a pay channel back then. She had the Comedy Channel, which became Comedy Central later. She had all of those things. I mean, she had all the movie channels, and so like so every night I'd go watch Tom Snyder, because he'd always interview these weird like people who were way more interesting than the other shows. My grandma was a avid Jay Leno fan. Watch the show every night.
Yeah,
she had a huge crush on him. That's pretty cute.
What is your favorite superhero movie then? I mean, except for the Snyder cut. We're not gonna.
I haven't seen it yet. It's probably not my favorite. Batman Mask of the Phantasm, the animated film. Or is that not allowed? You want live action?
No, 100% allowed. I just know nothing about it.
Batman animated series is the best interpretation of Batman ever. Batman's never been done fully to his full potential in live action. I'm in firm belief it would require probably 2 actors, which would be kind of hard to do unless they had literally the same exact chin.
That would be interesting. What if you got Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen? One's Bruce Wayne, one's Batman. That'd be great.
Anyway, Batman is almost 2 different characters. Bruce Wayne and Batman. Bruce Wayne is technically not even the real character. Bruce Wayne is his alternate ego. He's really Batman. Because when he's Bruce Wayne, all he thinks about is fighting crime, doesn't he? And he spends more time as Batman than as Bruce Wayne. He's Batman. Bruce Wayne's his alter ego.
Do you think he actually spends more time, or is that just like where the comics show us? Because
no, comics. It's pretty standard to know that is he spends more time. He basically spends all his time doing that. That's why he has Lucius Fox run his company.
That's true. I'm not 100% sure what my top movie is, like, when it comes to comic books. Like when I think of like superheroes and comic books and all that kind of jazz, like, honestly, the first one that I'm like, the one I really got really excited about was Guardians of the Galaxy. But I don't even know if that is what I would rate number 1 or not.
I think, okay, if I were to choose live action,
you don't have to.
No, I mean, in all honesty, I think Punisher Warzone might be the best representation of the character.
I've not watched any of the Punisher movies.
That might be the best representation of the Punisher ever done. I don't think there's actually, the thing about the Punisher is there's never been a bad one. Even Dolph Lundgren, it's a pretty good adaptation of that era's Punisher, honestly. Because that era's Punisher is based off cheesy action films. So guess what the fucking 80s Punisher was? A cheesy action film. Dolph Lundgren was chef's kiss. Yeah. Like for that era. For the era in the 2000s, Warzone is perfect.
Honestly, I really like the original X-Men movie as well. That one's fun to me. I hit a chord here. Why don't you enjoy the original X-Men film?
The best representation of X-Men on film with First Class. And
First Class is excellent. I do give you that.
It is
I really like
the
that
best X-Men film.
Quicksilver is always portrayed the exact same, like the super speed is portrayed the exact same way in like the different like X-Men films. Just because like I love that, like, it's not so much that he goes fast, it's almost just like everything else just slows down and he can screw with everyone.
Yeah.
And I really like that adaptation, as opposed to like the Incredibles with Dash, who just moves really fast, but you don't get to see him kind of having fun in that way.
Hey, Mannequin B, how's it going? Angie!
Oh, look at that.
Captain Marvel
Elise
is
chat is
awesome. Danny says that Captain Marvel is their favorite hero.
Captain Marvel is really
If
really
I'm
good.
gonna
I enjoyed
choose,
that more than I thought.
if I'm gonna choose like a more modern film, Captain America: Winter Soldier is probably one of the best. Like if I'm gonna choose like not my favorite, but like what I think is actually the best, Captain America: Winter Soldier is one of the best superhero movies ever made. It's got a pivotal intrigue. It's got it'll shrug your heartstrings. Like when he goes. When he says I could never forget about my main girl, like, oh my Jesus Christ, my heart just fucking, like, I started crying. I was like, what the fuck? What is this shit? But like the action for the most part is amazingly shot. The problem with American action cinema is generally they cut on the hit, so you don't actually see the hit. And so what happens is I go to hit you, and before I hit you, I cut. And I just see you react, which is not the same thing.
Can I tell you something extraordinarily dumb right now?
Maybe.
I literally thought that we were gonna have on your screen an image of me taking a hit, and I'm like, but that can't be. I did not record that.
What?
I was totally expecting me to have like a reaction on your screen of me being punched, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why I immediately just kind of thought that. It's silly.
I'm gonna refill, so I got my Spiro. 0. Oh, that's neat.
Oh, that's not good.
That's okay. I talked to my doc yesterday, and she's pretty receptive of putting me on progesterone and sublingual estrogen.
Look at you.
Yeah, and then
My doc is not.
And she's also looking to get into the oreectomy, so I can get the gonads removed.
You're going down that road. Not that we need to talk about,
Well, look, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem talking about it. I just have a problem with someone having a problem with me choosing that for my body. I've had a problem with I've had some bad experiences dating and like some cis girls, and 2 specifically, and both times we got pretty far along in like the making friends type thing, and then they got hung up on the future of my bits, and it's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. I know I don't want to take Spiro for the rest of my life or a testosterone blocker, so for a better quality of life for both tucking and for having to take less pills, or I don't know how to say that fucking word. I'm gonna remove my gonads. If
orchard. I've always said it orchard-ectomy.
That's not how it is. That's
how I've said it.
The doctor told me how to say it, and I immediately forgot how to say it. So it's great.
So until then, it's an orchard-ectomy.
It's an orchiectomy or something like that. Anyway.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's the internal removal of the gonads. So I still have the skin, obviously, for my future labia.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that goes through for you.
Mostly, it's just like it's about a quality of life thing, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Here.
Ew,
cis people and their genital obsession. I know. Okay. Danny says, ew, cis people and their genital obsession. Like, I know, right? It's like, what the fuck?
It's true. Everyone is
just don't get it.
With genitals.
It's like, leave my genitals alone. They're mine.
No. Not gonna leave your genitals alone, Elise.
It's okay. I haven't even like I literally haven't logged into any of the dating sites in like months. So,
well, that's fine.
I don't know.
Here's the thing.
No one wants to date me anyways. That's all right. No, it is true. Because no one wants to date me, otherwise someone would ask me out. Until then, someday someone will want to, but right now there's nobody, and that's fine.
I'm gonna.
That's not an always thing. That's just a right now thing. I'm cool with it.
They do. They're just cowards. That's all.
I don't know. I'm sure someone's too shy, but nothing I can do about that.
All right, back to movies.
So you know what? I was told by someone, they may have been joking, so I may have to check. But this is might be of interest. There's this like, so I was telling you about the Grand Guignol, Grand Dame Guignol was a genre of like, the Grand Guignol was like, was a theater where they did like grotesque plays, with gore and sex and nudity. Okay? And Dame being a lady. Okay, so it's killer lady theater basically. It was what it's called, the literal translation of it. This was, I think this is part of that genre, but this is about a cross-dresser, might be a trans person, but the back says cross-dresser, a cross-dressing person pretending to be an old lady. So I'm like, okay, interesting. But also, the Drag Queen's Ball, which is from like a 1970s, like 45 minutes of footage from an actual drag ball from 1970s. Okay. That sounds super interesting to me. So one of my trans canon films, one of the films that kind of like opened my brain to like, oh wait a minute, what? Was in the 90s when I was a teenager. I saw Paris is Burning on HBO because I used to have a bootleg cable box.
I've heard of that.
It's essential queer cinema, in my opinion. I saw it again recently. It's got a Criterion release on Blu-ray recently too, cementing it as essential cinema. Period.
Criterion, the whole Criteria collection. I'm always like, what is up with these? Because I've only like, listen, I know that they're like really nice remasters.
They are some of the highest quality masters you'll find because they go frame by frame and restore films.
Like, got it. I always thought there was a bunch of frou-frou movies from like that I've never heard of because like when they first came out, I feel like that's all they were.
Well, I mean, they are mostly true film movies. Is that what you called them? Is that what the internet calls them?
True film? Oh, frou-frou movies. Yeah, okay.
Frou-frou movies. Oh, true film movies. Oh, true film is the nerdy art Reddit subreddit for film nerds. So when you said, I thought you said true film. Like, how do you know about true film? Anyway, yeah, they are like the pinnacle of physical media because unlike the vast majority of companies who just put the film through the processor and do some minimal touch up to make it presentable,
let the computer do it.
They go frame by frame and try to present it and restore the film to the point where it was the first time you saw it in theater, like that.
Speaking of which,
so you pay $30 a disc minimum for a reason because they spent a lot of money and time on these things, you know.
Did you hear that Zack Snyder has not seen the theatrical cut of his movie?
Good. Why would I? I wouldn't want to see someone's look. If I were making a movie and someone made their own edit of my movie, I wouldn't want to fucking see it either. I don't give a shit. No. That's not my copy of the movie. I don't care.
Did you also hear?
Everyone calls that shade, but I don't think that's shade. That's just an artist being like, I don't want to be influenced by his version. I don't want to be upset by his version. It's his version. I want to do my version. You know.
Did you also hear that some people, when they went to go watch Tom and Jerry's like a week or 2 weeks ago, they actually got the Snyder cut instead of Tom and Jerry started playing?
What?
Like Tom and Jerry, like the new Tom and Jerry movie that
they went to a theater somehow and it was playing?
No, not a theater, on HBO.
Oh, on HBO. Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Instead of that, it would actually accidentally play the Snyder cut.
So some people got to see it early.
Snyder cut because of that.
That's cool. Hey.
Retro Game Critic, by the way, says Armageddon was one of the first releases of the Criterion collection. So he's like, they're not all frou-frou movies.
Excuse me.
True. Armageddon
full breaks. Both The Rock and Armageddon are in the Criterion collection. And they're in the first 100 titles, but they're not one of the first releases. The first 12 releases are like really solid art films, and The Killer from John Woo. You know, which is a great film. But see, the Criterion collection is about preserving art, the film history, and that includes some popular film. Because
it should include all popular films.
It shouldn't, because not all popular films are worthy of the Criterion collection. That was their intention. Not that Armageddon or The Rock are, but you know. Aw, love you, Angie. Yeah, no. So like, the vast majority of Criterion's titles are art frou-frou, art true film, art house cinema, and they have some more popular titles sprinkled about to bring sales in and to get people interested in the Criterion Collection, and because they think that some of those popular films are worthy of being in the Criterion Collection.
Do you think, or you would know, The Matrix? That would have to be in the Criterion Collection, right?
If Sony would let it, the problem is Sony
What's that?
doesn't like. Sony rarely license their shit to like.
Oh,
That's the
I
problem.
didn't even think about the licensing.
The
issue of
licensing
that
is the
also.
problem. You can't just release the movie, right? So, if Sony would allow it, they would have put the Matrix in there a long ass time ago, and it would be it would have been the most deluxe set. It would have been like there have been lush special features. You know, I had the Ultimate box set, which is full of special features, and they would just added more. They would take all that and then put more on, because how you know, that's what they do. They make their own stuff too. But like, yeah, that would have been cool. I think there's a lot of modern films that would totally be willing to be in the Criterion Collection. Honestly.
Okay, let's say that you had the complete and utter controls to put any 10 movies into the Criterion Collection that aren't already there. Do you have a short list of what you would put on there? This is on the moment, so if you don't,
how many can be box sets?
What's that?
How many can be box sets?
You know what? Every single one of them can be box sets. If you want to put the entire Lord of the Rings on there, that is one.
I don't think honestly,
movie.
I love Lord of the Rings and I love Hobbit. I don't know if they're worthy of the Criterion Collection.
What about
Ralph Bakshi's Coonskin? That's my number one.
Number one. Okay,
honestly, I would be a box set. The collected works of Ralph Bakshi. I'd rather do because I want American Graffiti, an American, and I want. Play It Cool and fucking Fritz the Cat and Wizards and Lord of the Rings because he did Lord of the Rings with the cartoon one.
How are they allowed to get away with this logo? So I'm looking at this logo and like they just stole like the background from like the Looney Tunes.
The fuck are you talking about?
Coonskin?
Oh, it's a fucking parody, dude.
Oh, it's a parody. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of, look it. He okay, so number one is the Ralph Bakshi collection, and it's like 6 or 7 movies. I can't remember.
Got it. Okay.
Right. I try not to choke it all with box sets, but like that's I think his body of work is one. It's scattered. It's gotten incomplete releases mostly, and I think a deluxe collector's set with a reappraisal and a big book with lots of like it was an interview because he's still alive and like maybe. I'd love to see, like, so he's been working on and off for, like, 15 years on this animated film called Last Days of Coney Island. And he's restarted several times, and I would just love to see all the false starts. All the unused footage. Since I don't think he's done making it, but, like, that's the kind of thing, like, to me... I'm
trying to think of what I would put on mine, because I don't know.
Let me pull up my letterbox list for because it's hard to remember.
So
I have a list. I have a list called the Canon of. I have a list called the Canon of Skin Slip, which is all the films that I think are like the films that make my brain up, basically.
Okay, I like that.
There was an article I read. I want to say like 8 years ago. Can't find it. I've looked for it since. Called "Making Your Own Personal Canon," personal film canon, and it talks about there's a whole other more famous essay you can find about making a personal canon for like literature, and this person made an essay that adapted the same concepts but for film, about like you should represent in your canon like a canon should represent you as a body of work, like a bodies of work that represent you, wholly and externally and internally. So like and you should annotate them if you can, and I'm gonna eventually go through and probably annotate my list.
So you should get into doing that. I think if you like, I this is probably highly illegal, but you should do commentaries for movies that you had no part in, and then resell them on the internet. Just commentary.
I have done for years live stream commentaries for movies. For years, before there was ever watch parties, we had a channel, we had a website called Greeky TV. We took our Twitch feed and a live chat that was and a YouTube video, and we could live stream us talking, the chat in the middle, and the movie below, or whatever. It was like a movie on YouTube, and you could just watch along with us all in one page. Before watch days, this was like 8 years ago, 6 years ago. I mean, like
bring it back. Like,
it's not. There's no
let's
point.
slap some.
Where there's watch parties on Twitch, which I should do more often. We should watch movies sometime. You know what? We should.
Are you prepared for that?
We should watch a really dumb movie that we could just laugh through. Me and you should sit down and watch an Anar film.
Okay. Listen, it's your sanity.
For those who don't know, an Anar film is a film that is good, but not because it was well made.
Okay, see, thank you, because I was one of those people who did not know. I was just going to pretend like
it's a French term because I hate the term so bad it's good or good bad movies. Because even the insinuation that you like something and it's bad is wrong. If you like something, it's good. It doesn't matter why you like it. If it made you have joy in your heart, whether it was a well-made film, quote unquote, or whatever, it's still it's all it is. It's all it just needs.
It's
so
kind of like when I see somebody.
So.
Like that's good. It's funny to me, but I don't want to get kicked in the nuts.
Film 2 would be Fucking Amal, aka Show Me Love from 1998. Lucas
yes, the classic. That one, okay.
You don't know what that's about. It's a foreign film about two budding lesbians in high school, and like I saw it.
Okay.
And I saw it in high school. It was one of those films. It's a film that's in my trans canon. It's a film that was like I'm gay. Like I was literally I'm watching this movie and I feel like I'm Ellen. In love with girls. I don't understand why I feel that way.
What's going on right now?
You know what I mean, right?
Yes, I
All
do.
Right.
100%.
Pick number 3. There's no anime. There's not a single anime. There's animated films. There's no Japanese or originated animation in the Criterion Collection. So I put Jinro: The Wolf Brigade, which is one of my favorite films of all time.
I may have heard of that one, though. Do not quote me on that.
That's because there is a Korean remake on Netflix called Il Yang: The Wolf Brigade, and you've probably seen that.
Maybe. I mean, maybe.
But I need to see that still. And there's also there's 2 other films set in the universe. One is called Panzer. One's called Panzer Corps Police Camera Panzer Police Corps, something like that. And the other one's called Red Spectacles. I actually had the 2 other movies, so just way over there. So I would do a trilogy set, like of those 3 movies, since they're all in the same universe.
Okay.
It's all by not Mamoru Oshii. What's his name? Fuck. Is it Hiroki? No. What's his? No. Fuck. I'm blanking.
You're only remembering it for your own like prestige.
It's Mamoru Oshii. It's Mamoru Oshii. It is Mamoru Oshii. Excuse me. It is. I self-doubted for no reason. It wasn't Mamoru Oshii.
You gotta stop doing that. You gotta have full doubt. Come on.
Yeah, he also did like Pet Labor and Ghost in the Shell 2: Innocence.
Why does that sound like a Fast and the Furious movie? Ghost in the Shell 2: Innocence.
That's a sequel to Ghost in the Shell. All right, so that's number 3.
Okay.
So what are 3? What was number 1? Oh yeah, Ralph Bakshi box set. Fucking them all. And then Jinro, or the Mamoru Oshii Jinro Red Spectacles Panzer Corps trilogy.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, and here's something that a lot of people don't get. All animated films are anime. You go to Japan, anything's animated, it's anime. Because guess what?
I don't know.
Only in Western, only in the West. Only in the West is it anime strictly for Japanese. So guess what? All animation is anime, and so I firmly stand by all animation is anime. By the way, and all anime is animation.
True.
It's a 2-way street.
True.
All right. Next film. So that's 3.
So the Japanese don't have any word to signify if it's homebrew or if it's imported.
Probably,
from Japan,
but
America?
anime just is animation. That's all it means. It's just like a.
Well, yeah, it's still animation over here.
But we call it anime only for Japanese anime. But like yeah, I call everything anime just to spite people now. In fact, the next time I see a non-Japanese oriented originated film, I'm gonna call it an anime on Twitter just to start a war.
That will start a war.
Pick number 4. Pick number 4 is American movie. With a bonus feature of Coven, the bonus film as a bonus.
I have heard of this movie, though I cannot tell you what this is about.
This is, my opinion, the best film about making films. It's about this guy called Mark Bouchard. He's a fairly famous cult film movie director who hasn't really done it. He's just a known person for making these short films. He made a film called Coven, which he calls Coven, and someone goes like, "Oh, don't you mean Coven? Why? No, that sounds like oven, man." That's literally a line from the movie. No, that sounds like. I have a bunch of soundboard clips on my channel that are from this movie, and I would want the 40-minute Coven's director's cut, the film that he. So the movie is about him making Coven, and I would want the Coven movie as a bonus feature because I've never seen it. So that's five. That's five. That's five.
Well, that's a hell of a bonus feature.
That's five, right?
I thought it was 4.
Was that 4? So about Bakshi, Jinro. Yes, that's 4. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Next.
Listen, I got The Matrix. I got Jurassic Park on there.
What the fuck? Matrix is good. I don't think Jurassic Park. I don't. Maybe the original Jurassic Park. I actually, you know what? Honestly, first Jurassic Park for special groundbreaking for special effects probably would go in.
Great.
Pick 5 is Map the Sounds of Tokyo.
See, mine is a little movie you may not have heard of it called The Fifth Element.
That's a great movie too.
And it would be number 5.
What was your other 4?
It doesn't matter. The Fifth Element has to be number 5.
Oh, I see. So Map the Sounds of Tokyo is about like the person like capturing sounds, and then they fall in love with this
Ooh, that's
girl.
Interesting. Okay.
I think he's a sound designer, and like he falls in love with this girl, and they keep meeting up in these love hotels. You ever been? No, you know what love hotel is?
Is it a brothel?
No, they're just rent by the hour or rent by the night hotels that are themed.
Kind of
So you go in and it's like but you go in with your escort or your girlfriend or your wife or whatever, whoever, or your boyfriend or your significant other, I should say. There we go. If you go to your significant other or the person you're staying the night with, and you go to a themed hotel, they have a room, they have costumes and like themed areas. Like you can go like fuck on a space station. Or on the moon outside the space station, things like that, like stuff like that. So that's number 5. Map the Sounds of Tokyo.
Okay. See, now I'm beginning to run out of movies that I think should go in my personal collection right here. Like, well, my Criterion collection.
The problem is I keep running into movies that are already in the Criterion collection.
See, you could literally tell me any movies because outside of the 5 that you've named, plus Armageddon, I don't remember what else is in there. I mean, I bet like Schindler's List is probably in there.
No. There's not a single Spielberg film in there, which is a shame.
Whoa, that's messed up, really?
Yeah. I would put the Three Cornettos trilogy. That's number 6. Hot Fuzz, World's End, and Shaun of the Dead.
Those are great movies.
That's it. That's number 6.
I was thinking about Hot Fuzz the other day. It's been a long time since
I love all 3 of those movies. I think World's End is the best one in my opinion, but you know.
World's End. Oh, that is really good.
It's so good. It's all so good. Number 7. Der Faun from 1982. It's a film about obsession. It's this girl who falls in love and becomes obsessed with this musician, and then she meets him, and then she fucks and kills him.
Oh, my number 7 would have to be the movie 7.
That was in the Criterion collection on Laserdisc.
Oh, it was?
In Laserdisc. They started numbering over on DVD and Blu-ray and 4K, and someday 4K. I think they actually started doing 4K, so I'm not sure.
Surprised me.
Here's one that would probably upset people. Lords of Salem, Rob Zombie's best film.
I watched that, which is surprising.
By a long shot. I'm being tagged a bunch of million places. What's going on here? Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna go find some drama over on Skinslip's page. Here we go. Everyone go to Skinslip's Twitter account right now. It's at Skinslip on Twitter.
No, it's on my Discord.
Oh, you're on your Facebook.
Oh, I see. My friend went live after me, of course. Okay.
Of course.
He has to steal the spotlight, the limelight from me. It's all right.
You know what? We're gonna rate him, and we're gonna tell him to F off.
Yes, Rift Tracks does commentaries. Red Letter Media sells commentaries. So you can sell commentaries, but so you have to be. People have to want your shit first. You can't just make them. Now, I did for years. No one wanted it, and so now people want them.
Make it.
All right.
Listen.
Film 8.
Film 8.
UHF.
Ooh, you know what? I feel like a bad Weird Al fan because I've not seen UHF.
Oh, it's so good.
I need to watch it. We should watch that one together.
Okay, I'd be fine with that. Do you have a copy of it?
No, do you?
Yes, but you can't get your own copy of it because we're streaming.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. We should watch a different movie.
I actually
Should
don't know
watch
how we're.
Frozen. Do you have a copy of Frozen?
I'll have to install virtual audio cable if we do this, because otherwise they're gonna. Because I listen to my movie through the computer, my audio goes out through the computer, out into the computer, so I can hear it while I'm hanging out with people. So I can wear these headphones and they're all. So I can't. So what I have to do is take you and put you on a virtual line 1. That's where you're talking by yourself. So I can mute this desktop audio, and then I can take line 2, which is the fucking audio for the stream, put you into it, listen to audio at line 2, so the stream can hear you, I can hear you, but they can't hear the movie. Yes, it's a lot of work. That's right. I was just thinking about
to
that.
do that.
I'll have to figure it out.
Also, Maya has a copy he can lend me, so maybe that'll be a possibility. Maya is like, I was gonna say my real life version of you, but they're just kind of like a closer version of you. Maya has a lot of movies. I don't think he has quite as many movies as you do. Because holy crap, at least you have a lot of movies. But Maya,
Last check. Do you want to know the damage?
Yes, Maya, I want to know how many movies you have as well. So just start counting, please.
I mean, like any collector whose collection gets big enough, they need to start doing a list where you buy duplicates. Basically the first time I bought the 3rd copy of a movie, I was like, okay, it's time to start doing a list. I bought 3 copies of Blues Brothers in like 3 months period time because it kept going on sale. And I kept forgetting that I bought it, so it was like it's time to make a list. So I made a list. I'm trying to find my list. I made a list on Letterboxd. In fact, here it is: 3,424 movies that are available to be added via Letterboxd. Letterboxd doesn't have some movies, so.
That's that's almost scary that Letterboxd doesn't have some movies that you have.
And that's unique titles. That's not dupe. So like, if I have like Night of the Living Dead probably 20 times over, but that's only one in that list. It's a public domain movie, so it comes on like every horror mix of movies. So if you get like horror, it's like, oh, zombies mix, and it might have like 1 or 2 like good films in the Night of the Living Dead, which is a great film, but they'll probably have a crappy public domain version, and then they'll have like Last Man on Earth and some other like public domain shit that like bad copies of good movies, and then they'll have their own movie. So you'll go like, oh, I got 5 movies, but really you're only gonna watch like maybe 1 of those movies in that